Hello, and welcome to Ascent's Fireside Chats. I'm Kathy Corman-Fry, and I teach women's entrepreneurial leadership at the George Washington University.
And I'm Dr. Patricia Green, the 18th Director of the Women's Bureau of the U.S. Department of Labor.
So today, we are going to be speaking with you about pricing. And entrepreneurs out there, here's a first question for you. Think about your first sales. Did you price your product or services based on what you saw in the market? Or did you offer a discount to your friends and family? And specifically, do you think you charged enough?
Isn't that the big question?
That is the biggie. So if you're like most women, you might have undersold yourself. And if you don't fit into this category, please still listen, because you're in a fantastic position to help and support other women around this topic. Because research shows that women tend to charge less than men in business, and it happens across the board.
Even women lawyers tend to bill about 20% less than men do, while actually putting in more hours.
Yikes! So the question here really is, how do we stop leaving money on the table and charge what we're worth? This is where an informed pricing strategy comes in, right? I mean, what if one of the easiest ways to grow our businesses starting today was to price our products and services appropriately?
I do think a lot of women business owners face anxiety over not knowing how to figure out what to charge.
So true.
And then again, money can be a taboo topic for many women.
Yeah.
So how do we help each other with that?
Right. It's so anxiety provoking. And the first thing that some of us need to do is recognize and release the cultural stigma about money. Patty, I know this is the same for you. I've worked with women who are employees and entrepreneurs who were just raised not to talk about money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was just thinking of an incredibly successful woman I know, and she actually needed a pre-negotiation pep talk around how to talk about money.
And that actually doesn't surprise me, no matter the level.
Right. The second thing is to approach pricing strategically. So whether it's different pricing methods, doing a ton of market research, or both, the headline here is get smart about pricing. And there's a bunch of ways to set prices. So we can start by focusing on three major pricing categories, and these are strategies. So they are cost plus, competitive pricing, and the customer value model.
I'll take the first one, Kathy.
Okay.
You might have heard about the term cost plus. Mm-hmm. This is where your price is basically the cost it takes me to produce this product or service plus a premium. Mm-hmm. That's the general equation. But the side note is, make sure you add in variable costs, like the cost of any time you personally have to put into this work, as well as your fixed costs, like any overhead. Then apply your markup. Mm-hmm. But don't let your eyes glaze over about the terms. If some people out there are not tracking fixed, variable costs, don't worry. Just search for the terms and see how it applies to your business.
Right. Okay. Next term, competitive pricing. This is actually not always the lowest price around. So it's setting your price to position yourself in the market relative to your competition. So people who study this stuff have all sorts of specific terms to describe price matching, going low, going high with your price. But I'm going to skip the terms and just sort of go right into an example. So if you know the competitors, for the most part in your market, price around $400, then you might price around $400 to match them. That's one variation. You can also price slightly lower at, let's say, $379, with the hope that more people will choose you, and that will increase your sales volume. Now, one caveat here, right? Patty and I are both looking at each other,
Absolutely.
Not to get caught in this death spiral, right? Which is, be prepared. If you price your product low, don't get stuck there. Or improve your operations such that you have efficiencies and can stay there and still make a profit. Just think about those. The last part is, let's say you're pricing high, $500, and you're essentially skimming the market. Customers that are willing to pay more are going to pay the $500.
Yeah, and Kathy, that connects really tightly to the third one, the customer value model, sometimes also called value optimized pricing, where you're pricing based on your customer's perception of value, what they think they're getting. And it goes without saying that you need to make sure that the customers agree you're bringing this amazing value. How do you know what your customers think? You ask them, or you test different prices.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do. And we all see examples of this out in the real world. For example, premium skincare. This stuff can be priced much higher than the products we see in the drugstore. So the manufacturers and the companies that sell this product are setting a price for what's positioned as a premium product in the eyes of the customer.
I mean, the whole thing there is your pricing strategy has to match your brand. It's a big deal.
Right.
But it all makes sense. But then again, how do you know if your pricing is right or not once you've picked a path?
Yeah, this is a good question, right? How do you course correct? It would be nice if we could just decide this up front and chisel it in stone and never turn back again. So
it can be set, but not set in the stone.
I know, that's right. Don't set it and forget it, people. So there's 3 kind of really easy flags to watch out for. One is, am I pricing too low? Another is, am I pricing too high? And the last is setting a price that doesn't match your brand. So this sounds kind of like, really obvious as I'm saying it. But the reason I mention this is because so many entrepreneurs are so busy with their heads down, next. And, they really have to pay attention and put their head up every now and then to try to keep a check on their pricing. So there's a couple examples I can think of. One is market research and customer research, conferences, websites, asking customers who've worked with your competitors, asking vendors who've worked with your competitors. There's so much information out there, right, Patty?
I admit I'm big on talking to the customers specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do an exit interview at the end of a project. You can develop a survey, even offering a gift card or something cool as a prize to get the answers. I mean, there's just a few ideas, and there's lots of them out there, but talk to your customers.
Yes, that's great. And my second is peer mentoring. I like this as a go-to for pricing questions. So this is gathering some peer mentors and advisors, having the pricing discussion. Am I setting my price too low or too high? Am I setting a price that matches my brand?
And because after all, we know there are plenty of business nerds out there who would be more than willing to do this with you.
Oh, yes. We know a couple of those. Yeah.
Well, I'm a researcher at heart, so I always want to make sure I've got the information I need before I make a decision. Is there anything else business owners need to know in order to set their price?
Okay. So we've talked about market and customer research. The last thing I'd add in is to really understand what your competition is charging. It's not an option. And by competition, I mean specific competition as well as industry averages. So the takeaway here is you should really be able to clearly explain why you're charging what you are.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Our businesses are such powerful, vital parts of our economy. We shouldn't be timid about charging what our products or services are actually worth.
Yeah, let's do it right.
I'm thinking of an artist I know. She did a lot of research on what similar art was priced at and then backed into an hourly fee based on the average earnings for artists at about the same level of experience.
Oh, that's smart.
Then she added in her fixed costs, materials, shipping, those types of things. But she's really transparent about her pricing structure with potential clients, and they're eager to pay a fair price for authentic art.
That's smart. So my takeaway here that I'm hearing from you is do some research and be able to explain why your price is right. And if you need to, get an advisor to support you and bounce ideas off. And once you do, you're on your way to one of the fastest business growth strategies of all time.
I completely agree. And again, it's a strategy. So manage it and see where it goes.
Yep. Appropriate pricing. Give yourself a raise.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being with us today.
Enjoy the ascent.